on, guys? So, doing something special today. I know Sam couldn't make me and Nigel's little Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse review, so I figured this is the good way to make up for that. Me and Sam gonna take this hour-ish or so to talk about the Elseworlds thing, because I gotta say, out of all the crossovers, I felt this was probably one of the more intimate crossovers, so to speak. Which I think is a good thing. I think it's a good thing because, you know, you had the one with the Dominators. It felt like it expanded 4 shows. And then, you know, you had Earth X, which really expanded on all 4 shows to an extent. And now you had this one, which felt very intimate. Like, while there was world stakes there, it still felt kind of like it was all on Supergirl, Flash, and Green Arrow and stuff, with Superman dashed in and stuff. So we're going to be talking about kind of, you know, all 3 parts and stuff. Not really going to go in order per se, but kind of like, you know, talk about the good, the bad, and our theories of what could possibly happen going forward. So I guess starting off, how did you like the Elseworlds 3-parter overall, just as a story?
I actually really loved it because I felt like it wasn't just, you know, we're going to do this for just this one moment. Like, it felt like we're leading to something else. Whereas, like, all the other ones, you know, they were great being consolidated in, you know, like, all right, I don't have to look at any of these other seasons. I could just watch this. But this made me like, wow, this is, like you said, very intimate. But at the same time, it shows that progressionally things are going to change throughout all these shows. And, like, even though the stakes aren't directly there, you can see or foresee the foreshadowing of where they're going to go. And I love that aspect of it, if not anything else.
Yeah, I was digging it. I didn't see it live like everybody because recording, and also like since this is the month of December, and Sam probably knows there's like so many ridiculous amounts of movies that does Hollywood decide to shuffle in December. So it kind of fucked me up. It kind of messed me up in terms of recording for a lot of stuff because I still need to put out Black Lightning stuff, and I'm pretty sure Sam probably is backlogged on his stuff as well. So like this 3-parter was one of those like I'll catch it, you know, later on. So I didn't watch it live with everybody on the shocks and awes. So it's like I'm coming in like the only one that I saw. No, I don't even count Tuesdays because I came back from Deadpool. Like, as soon as I got back from Deadpool and I saw, like, the third part, I was like, this was perfect. And so, like I said, I enjoyed all 3-parters. There's, like I said, there's definitely ties to the other shows because if you weren't watching Supergirl, you're definitely going to be lost on why she's feeling the way she is about having her secret identity and her relationship with Clark. And you know, things like that. And if you didn't watch Arrow, particularly with Oliver being in prison, you won't understand the dynamics of like Oliver being in prison and how he had the experience with Felicity. And if you're not watching The Flash, well, you're not going to understand Barry and also him dealing with his daughter, which they don't touch on in this crossover, but like there's subtle hints that, oh, you know, they're still dealing with kind of like the fallout of certain things that happened this season. So I thought it was great. They definitely did a lot of setup. Batwoman, they did a pretty good job. I'm curious to see how they're going to spin that off to their own show because considering that CW has added Sunday night as their block for stuff, it's looking like, I mean, maybe they might add this on like a Saturday for some of these shows now, possibly.
Yeah,
so,
true.
I guess we'll start with the elephant in the room here. Batwoman. What did you think of the character and how, you know, I guess, you know, Ruby Rose kind of, you know, played the character and her alter ego, so to speak?
Yeah, I think that they conditionally made her work like how Supergirl works as the hero, even though there is a Superman. That's the same way I felt like how they handled Kate or Ruby Rose's Batwoman in this one. But the thing I'll say about it is her aesthetic, her look, and when she Batwoman, it's and then the other side of that, when Ruby Rose is, you know, just Kate and interacting, you know, you can kind of tell like there's a little bit of edge to her, mysterious. I want to get a little bit more of her personality. I think she has the acting ability to be able to do it. It was kind of like more so the better dialogue moments was when she was talking with Supergirl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody else is kind of just like, well, I'm kind of like replacing Christian Bale for the moment because he's been gone for 3 years and he let everything go there. Because, I mean, honestly...
do you think they really did tie it in the Dark Knight series? It felt like that way, but didn't feel that way, you know?
They definitely did. Because even though they didn't show, like, you know, the Batman, like, tower or anything like that, like, it felt like, man, like, this is fit right in perfect place as to where, okay, Christian Bale left. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, even the reasonings why lined up perfectly. And I think that was a careful nod in so many different respects. Kind of like even when Superman was fighting against the group in the third act, like, that felt like very much so a Man of Steel fight. Very much so a Man of Steel Zod moment when he kind of had, like, your boy Flash by the neck. I was like, yo, these are so many different Easter eggs. I loved it. But as far as, like I said, with Kate Kane, I think they did a really good job of her. It made me to the point I was like, yo, I would watch her series for sure. But it would be more interesting to see her and Supergirl interact more than anything, which is strange to say.
Yeah, because I think that talk that, you know, Kate and Kara had was actually pretty cool because it seems like their dynamic will be it's definitely a 180 than what Bruce and Clark's dynamic was. Because whereas Bruce and Clark, their dynamic, at least initially at face value, was very much I don't trust you. It seems like Kate, it's along the lines of, well, I trust you because it seems like you're a very good-hearted person. And you're kind of like, I like to see a world's finest with these two, you know. And, you know, I saw a lot of people sit there and say if they do the Batwoman show like it is, it seems like they might pull a lot of from the Bad Blood cartoon that came out recently and stuff from that angle, which I could see. But like you say, I do agree with you, the aesthetics of what they're doing. And I mean, look, we saw Mr. Freeze and a lot of these other characters established there. I mean, Homegirl had the freeze gun. And like they really established a lot of things of that world. And what I thought was hilarious was how Oliver felt like he was the lone vigilante. Like, Batman doesn't exist. It's a makeup by the Gotham City PD to drum up crime and all that stuff. And then it's like, oh, Batman does exist.
Yeah.
You know, because Oliver, like you said, I think, because this has been a running joke, and I think you've probably said it on your show, and I probably dropped it. You know, they've always positioned Arrow from the first season as like, oh, he's just Batman, you know, with arrows and stuff. And I like how the show kind of, this whole thing leaned into that aspect and stuff. It think for the most part, Ruby worked and stuff. I mean, she's a little stiff at times, but I could tell that she was kind of like getting better as it came, particularly in that episode, because she only showed up for that episode and that was it. But it worked as like a backdoor pilot for whatever they want to do going forward and stuff. Definitely on that angle. On the other angle, we had Superman.
Yes.
Who there's rumors that they're trying to do a Superman show. And there's a part of me that feels that might come with, and we'll get to it when we jump there, but maybe post-Crisis of Infinite Earths that's happening next year, they might do one, possibly. Superman was actually really good in this. We saw him, he played a part, at least in the first and the third acts of this crossover and stuff, but when he was there was impact, and like the fact that the reintroduction to him is the Smallville theme was actually pretty dope, man. I love him and Kara's interaction, and just their relationship, and how him and Lois have a very just happy relationship. And I don't know for you, I'll let you know your feelings, but like it felt like they're him and Lois, they're past that struggle. They actually are at a happy place, you know, and stuff. Yeah. So I mean, did you grasp that maybe they're past the struggle, they're past all the downtime, they're actually at a happy place, so to speak. If you know, the second part was like the world of what Christian Bale kind of left behind. This definitely felt like the vein of what, you know, Tom Welling and your girl that played Lois Lane went through and how they ended up. Because at the end of Smallville, if you don't know, you know, she knew her secret. She knew his secret. They kept it a secret. You know, they were going to get married, but they didn't.
and they kind of left it off right there, and it's kind of like
flew as Superman in the suit, but they didn't necessarily show it, which was like, oh, come on.
Exactly, but it's like it felt like they have history, they have understanding of each other, they have battled each other, but it's like they are on sync. The thing about it, Go ahead.
No, for you. Just before I let you continue, was this their way of basically subtly saying that this Superman was the Smallville TV show Superman?
You know, I kind of feel like
because you're making good theories here on like that could possibly be a thing here. I mean, it felt that way of like, oh no, this is Smallville Superman here. So there you go, have fun.
Exactly, and it was like I felt that was so perfect because. You know, Tyler Hoechlin, like, at first I kind of was really skeptical. I ain't gonna front.
We all were.
This episode, for me, I was like, he can be this generation's TV Superman. He can be my Dean Cain. He can be my Tom Welling. You know, he can be that. Especially if, this is the thing conditionally.
Yeah.
When they said that, you know, he was going to leave and go to Argo and they were going to have the baby and stuff like that. And I was like, but wait, Crisis on Infinite Earth is going to be in 2019 fall. And I'm like, they are winding things up to being a Superman, Lois, and Clark. And if you haven't read that comic series, read it, because it's so great watching the dynamics of Lois, Clark, and Jonathan Samuel Kent. And if they make a show about, you know, Lois and Clark and, you know, Junior or the Kents or something like that, I would be all for it, because unlike anything we've ever seen before, it's like, yeah, we'll get like the Lois and Clark tropes here and there, but how do you navigate that with a kid? You know what I'm saying? I would.
It might be like the book with the super kids, where you know they're acting like a regular husband and wife, like their kid is Superboy, but they're treating them like a regular kid. Like, I mean, yeah, you got superpowers, yeah, you're out here chilling with Damian, but we're going to treat you like a kid. So you got a curfew. You need to be back at this time. I don't care what Bruce does with Damian. No, you can get your behind back here, do your homework, and do what you gotta do. So that's gonna be fun. I think that kind of is the key in for Lois and Clark's relationship in this. It's like it's fun. It's not to say that, and I don't like making that apples to oranges comparison here, but it's like I see a lot of people online, they're like, why do people like the Tyler one and say he got better characterization than the Henry Cavill? And it's like, well, look, let's be real about this, all right? If we're going to be real, and I don't want to make the comparisons. I know the movies and the TV are doing two different things, but I think the appeal comes from the fact that, like, you saw what Zack Snyder was doing with Man of Steel with Clark, and I think a lot of us were, for the most part, despite the net snap in Man of Steel, we were kind of like, all right, you know, fine. We like this characterization of Superman, and I think BVS and to an extent Justice League kind of undermined all the craziness that they had to deal with these characters and stuff. So when they see this Superman in this TV show and he's all happy and he's in a good place with Lois, I think it comes from a place of we're wishing that the movies gave us that dynamic in the same fluid way that the TV show did.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the comparisons come in. And like I said, it's a little bit unfair to Cavill because it's just he's a victim of just like where WB was at with all that stuff. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I just think it's unfair, but I get why, and including myself, I put myself in that category. I kind of gravitated more so to the TV one than Cavill's, but I know that's not his fault per se. You know, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, my take on it is it's definitely a different dynamic that I don't want Tyler Hoechlin's Superman to be Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
And that's not like me differentiating between the two. I look at Dean Cain's Superman versus Tom Welling Superman are totally different because there was a time frame between, season 3 to season 2 to season 4. It was just melodrama, unnecessary, like Lana. That's all that we focused on was Lana and the villain of the week kind of thing. Yeah. And then when they get to season 5 and Jonathan Kent died, that was progressionally when things started to go into stride. But in between that point, I was like, man, like this dude just don't catch a break. Like he ain't never gonna fly. Like he don't even want to be a Kryptonian. Like what am I looking at this for? Whereas Dean Cain's Superman was always like, he knew who he was.
Yeah.
Like, he was always, like, on it. You know what I'm saying? He was cheesy as a mug. He's kind of more so what Tyler Hoechlin's character is in so many different embodiments. But at the same as that time, you know, when he got an edge to him, sometimes it was like, oh, wow, this is going to happen. But this is a very different one because he's not so... Tyler Hoechlin with Lois is not like, oh, well, they're all lovey-dovey, all up on each other. Like, she very much so has an edge to her and independency to her, and they know who they are. Like, they're well-rounded. And so I think it's fine to have this Superman and whatever they're trying to progressionally put in the movie theaters. And people just need to stop comparing. Like, just enjoy what we get. Because if they make this pilot, if that pilot comes through, bro, I'm going to be losing it. For real.
And I think it's because, like I said, it goes back to what I was saying, too. I just think it's because we'll finally see a Superman that's, like, happy, and he's paired him and Lois. Like you said, that's why I do agree with you. I do feel maybe this is a continuation of Smallville Superman, because it's like you said, Superman, he got past all the BS, you know, and he's just in a good place with Lois. Because, I mean, their dynamic was just perfect. This whole series and stuff. So it's like when it was like, oh yeah, she's pregnant, Lois is pregnant. It's like, oh, okay, this is, I love this, you know, and just the endearing nature of Superman being the one to help the group save the day. But at the same time, the crossover they didn't use Superman to overshadow the other three, and I think that's good. Like, he served his purpose as being kind of like, hey, I'm here to help, but I'm not going to overshadow you guys, because even when they had that fight with Amazo in the first part, he was getting his behind kicked just like the other three were. And it worked. Yeah. So, you know, like I said, Soups was perfect. I can't wait to see what they do with him. Just like I said with Batwoman, I can't wait to see how they intermingle him with there, because I like the fact that eventually in the third part, he's like, look, you know, I'm just going to step down while me and Lois have our life. You're good to go. I'm passing the baton on to you until I decide I want to pick up the cape. But hey, I think you're good for the world. You know, the world doesn't need two super people here. We're good. And, you know, if I pick back up the cape, we still be doing our thing individually, but you're good. I think the world is safe under you. So I thought that was perfect and great. Now, the thing that was cool, I'm going to save Kara for last, because I think she has some pretty good characterizations. Ollie and Barry, I got to say, they went through some shit. Part of the language, but they went through some shit, and that, like, seeing the first part was just cool, just seeing how they both react to being in each other's shoes in their life. Because what was funny, how Ollie wakes up as Barry in Barry's life, and what was funny to me is how, like, Iris is cooking, and I'm like, so she didn't burn the breakfast?
Yeah, no, Iris is not a cook. No, I was like, whoa.
I mean, was that part of the deal? Like, she learned to cook now? You know, so that was funny. But just like the reaction of like, oh my god, I'm super speed, I can flash. It just like he's reacting to the fact that he's Flash and he has super speed. And like, you know, when they're shooting at him, he's like, oh my god, I want to die. And it's like, oh, he's in Flash time now. And just seeing how that world reacts to him as Flash. But then you turn around and you see Barry as Oliver. And Barry, unlike Oliver, I mean, granted, you can say Oliver is amazed that he has super speed, but I think Barry enjoyed the aspect of being Arrow, especially when he's just putting on Diggle. He's looked up his shirt and he got like an 8-pack and stuff. But like at the same time, what I thought was cool was the fact that, you know, when we get to that, you know, second part and we see them get hit by the Scarecrow toxin, we see the fact that Oliver realizes that Barry didn't have it easy like he thought. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, when you're a viewer of, at least in the early seasons of Arrow and Flash, your preconception was, well, Arrow is dark, and Flash was this lighthearted, fun show and stuff, and that's what Oliver thought, that's how Barry's life was. Everything was all lighthearted, and when he fights Reverse Flash, it's like, oh, this isn't as fun as I thought it was. Meanwhile, Barry is like, oh, this is actually real. Like, I mean, I knew you were going through some stuff, but I didn't know it was this bad, you know. And I think that was cool, is that they both learned more about each other than what they already had already before and stuff. So, I mean, what was your kind of, like, I guess, viewpoint on these two different dynamics?
Yeah, I think it definitely was really a fish out of water situation, because Stephen Amell, I think, did a really good job acting that. Matter of fact, all around, I think that he had some of the more on the nose, well acted moments out of everybody, in all honesty, especially when he was having a conversation with the monitor. I thought that was really inspiring.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Save
but in terms of like his interaction with Barry or being Barry, like he was just like, man, this is crazy. Like at first he was kind of just like, should I kind of just play into this? Like, no, this isn't gonna work. I need to get to
they gotta know.
Yeah, but I mean, even crazier than that, there was so many different callbacks to when they first were kind of like working together, like how Barry set up, your boy Oliver, and he was like, "Oh, shoot the arrow at me! Like you got some arrows hitting." Like, no, I'm not you. I'm not Oliver. And like he was like, "I gotta take a picture of this. This is epic." And it was hilarious. Like the first episode, in so many different ways, was near perfect to me.
Oh yeah.
To be quite honest with you, but I think that, like you said, when they had that moment of like fighting amongst each other, it was kind of just like, whoa. Like now you get the revelation of, yeah, I have lost not just like, with Oliver, like my mom and my dad, and other people in my life. Like Barry's had to let his parents die multiple times. He's had to let like certain things happen that changed the course for everybody. And it's like that ultimate villain is still alive. Like Malcolm is gone. Oh, yeah. But boy, Red Flash is very much so alive, and it's like, how do you deal with those, inner demons, so to speak? And it's like Oliver embraces that darkness. But Barry can't even, like he even said, like I can't run well if I am in darkness. Yeah. If I linger in darkness, I can't run well. So it's like it shows how strong Barry really truly is.
Yeah,
because it's like that means he can't fight angry. Like, he's weaker when he fights angry versus how Stephen Amell fights, which is very much so like a Batman-Superman situation. But I loved it. I love those character dynamics because it made you understand as audience how these characters really work together, but then now they're understanding each other better. Yeah. But there's definitely some foreshadowing of some dark times.
Yeah. I mean, because I like how each individually they had their talks, like Oliver as Barry was talking to Iris. And they had that conversation and stuff. And when Iris talked to Barry, she was just like, hey, look, I know we're going to get married. We're going to get this back to normal. But she was like, hey, I don't want you to have that darkness that Oliver has.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting that she said that because even in the Flash TV show, I think maybe it's because she feels she can turn into what's-his-face from season 3, Savitar. I think maybe that's what it is, because Savitar is the embellishment of Barry going evil, so to speak, that darkness in him and stuff. And I thought that was interesting that she keyed in on that, and I like the fact that this new reality, it changed up to where apparently Oliver took a plea deal and stuff, even though we know that's not true anyways. But I thought that was interesting, the fact of, oh, Felicity doesn't know.
Exactly.
But like I said, we know that Oliver didn't take a plea deal is because, he got off because of everything else. But I thought all the dynamics and those little nuances, like Diaz is part of the freaking, when they revise the world again, when Homeboy revises the world again, Deegan.
Oh, yeah.
And then freaking Diaz is a cop for Star City.
Yeah, they had Deathstroke's son, they had Malcolm Merlin, they had Diaz. And I was like, yo, this is crazy.
Oh yeah, everything was crazy because Deathstroke's son, that was another carryover, which that would be interesting to see with reality set. What's up with him? Which I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably tie into too as well. But it was interesting with those two and their dynamics and things like that. Now Kara, on the other hand, because she didn't get, up until the third part, her world didn't necessarily change per se because they didn't touch it. It was really just Earth 1 that got changed. Yeah. She had an interesting angle because, she had that talk, as I said earlier, with Clark about secret identities and the importance of that. Because if you've been watching Supergirl, the president has been wanting her to kind of like expose her identity, so to speak, her secret identity as Kara Danvers, and she doesn't want to, and she basically refuses, and she's having this conflicting like, well, should I tell everybody who I am to kind of, trust me? And Clark was like, well, secret identities is there for a reason and stuff. But if that's how you feel, hey, that's just how you feel. They're just going to have to trust you, even if you're not going to sit there and expose yourself. Which, I mean, it seems like the world does trust her anyways, but I thought that was kind of an interesting angle that they kind of pushed. But also, too, the fact that Earth 1 has her sister there, well, a version of her sister there, was interesting because we've always sat there and said, hey, where's Kara at on Earth 1? Like, what's this version of it and stuff? Oh, you said there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, but, like, where is Kara at? And she mentions, like, well, maybe my Kara never came to this Earth. You know, so just that interaction with her sister of Earth 1 was actually pretty cool. I mean, which thoughts did you thought that was going to lead to something, or do you think it was just like, it's just a throwaway kind of thing?
I don't, you know what? I feel like everything that happened in this one, like you said, is very intimate. I don't think any of this is thrown away. I think that all of this is calculated, because one thing that I would even question to you is like, okay, everything in Earth 1 was changed. Nothing in Earth 38 was changed. Does that mean that it's possible that there is an Alex in Earth 1? We never even questioned those things. Like, we
assumed it, but they just never dived into those things.
Exactly. But what if there is a Jimmy Olsen in Earth 1? What if there is an Alex in Earth 1? Mm-hmm. Like, we just don't even know. And we'll go into that later, because I have a thought about all that, but I loved the fact that Alex, kind of just like with Iris, Felicity, Alex was the same exact thing for Supergirl, that she knew the goodness inside of this woman. You know, she didn't understand it, you know, but she was drawn to like being close to this woman, and it was like, she was like, no, you stand for what's right. Like, I have to follow you. This is who I'm supposed to be. And she even said it, like, she's like, I feel like this is how it's really supposed to be. And so it's going to be really interesting, because there was 3 different things that happened. Iris was like telling Barry, don't become Oliver Queen, because I'm worried about that being a thing. Mm-hmm. Felicity, you know, got the reverse of what, you know, Oliver normally does. He always lies to her. He was honest with her. He told her exactly who she is to him. Mm-hmm. And then as far as with Alex, it was like, you know, regardless of who you are, what universe you are, like, I'm here for you. Yeah. And, like, I feel like those seeds that are being planted for something. I really do. I really do. I don't think any of this is thrown away at all. And I think, like you said, Supergirl definitely got a lot of great progression of character development. I mean, she has some funny moments too, like her mimicking Oliver, her like picking at both of them, like, you guys have to be each other. Now this episode, like, you got to stop being each other so much to get out of your own way, you know. But but that was good.
Yeah, I mean, because even with the nice touches of seeing, because I dubbed the third part 3, as like DCCW's House of M, because I don't know if you remember House of M, how like some of the heroes were like street level and stuff, and like seeing what's his face Vibe Cisco kind of be like the Luke Cage, kind of like, I'm an information stealer and I got Jimmy and them as my muscle, so to speak, and stuff. I thought that was interesting. He was like, throw him out the back. No, you know. But just that little thing with Cisco was actually fun. And even seeing Jimmy there, they managed to keep kind of like, hey, what's Jimmy doing in this area? It's like, oh, there's Jimmy. They used him. They even used, you know, Martian Manhunter and Brainiac 5. And I thought that was actually fun seeing him fight, you know, Amazo and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Now, here's my thing. We're hitting in the territory of this whole thing here. So you have this whole thing of Elseworlds being a test, so to speak, to kind of see if these Earths are ready to kind of basically, what's the word here? The Monitor is basically testing these Earths to see if they can prepare themselves for the upcoming crisis that's happening. Yeah, the Monitor doesn't necessarily say who it is, but, you know, he basically is just along the lines of, oh, hey, you know, we're just here to make sure that you're prepared, everything's cool. And like I said, Earth 90 Flash, which is the kind of a wink and nod to 1990 Flash, and it was cool to see, homeboy back in the old Flash costume. I love John Wesley Ships.
Dude, the show he's got the best costume, bro.
The show has not, the 1990 show has not aged well, but like there's a certain level of like nostalgia for it because it was kind of the show that aimed for it shot for the stars and did like if there was anything that you can say that it really was kind of the prototype of what the CW is doing for the Flash now, except the Flash is able to refine everything that the 90s show was trying to do, special effects and even the stories and stuff, and they were able to do a lot. So I think that was cool to see them there. But, basically, as we get to the end of Elseworlds, it's preparing for Crisis on Infinite Earths for next year, which is kind of tying into stuff for the Flash, because the very first crossover that they did, the very first one the CW did, it tied into Supergirl because if I remember correctly, the Dominators were in Supergirl. They played a part after the crossover and being kind of the aliens that she had to deal with and stuff. This one, if you've been watching The Flash, and if you haven't, how dare you, Barry's daughter is trying to prevent him from disappearing in said crisis. And, jumping ahead here, she's working with Reverse Flash. And it's kind of tied. Spoiler alert. She's working with Reverse Flash, which thankfully it's kind of cool that they didn't tie in Barry's daughter to all this. I think that was actually a cool thing because they're already dealing with their stuff as is. And side note, the newest episode of Legend, the mid-season finale of Legends, addresses why they're not part of the crossover because they're like, hey, I wonder what's going on with Barry and them. They're probably doing another crossover again. Which was hilarious. I don't know. Did you see the mid-season for Legends?
I didn't see it.
Oh my god, they address it in the briefest way, and it's like, okay, that's funny. All right, cool, dope, and it's trust me, when you watch it, you're gonna laugh. But like this ties a lot into Barry than what Barry thinks because even if you've seen the newspapers and stuff, the Flash addresses, Barry disappeared during a crisis. Yeah. So my thing is this: basically, Oliver had to sacrifice something to save Barry and Kara. Now, let me ask you, Sam. What do you think Oliver sacrificed to balance the scales, as the Monitor said?
It's weird because it wasn't just that he... It can't be that he just sacrificed himself because you're talking about two different people.
Yeah.
Now, when we think about Crisis on Infinite Earth, like both of them, spoiler, die, by self-sacrifice and by death. So it's like they're quintessential to them winning this, but it's like Oliver only spared them for the inevitable later on. But going back to that, what I think he did sacrifice his life, but he sacrificed somebody else, and I don't know who that could be. I really don't. I have no clue. And I don't know, because I feel like his life is not just enough. I really don't. I really don't feel like...
because he seemed like the Monitor was like, hey, you want me to save your friends, what are you willing to sacrifice? And I'm like, did he sacrifice his lifespan? Did he sacrifice his marriage? Like, what happened? Is he going to give up his life if this crisis happens? We don't know. And it's like, really... It's like the fact that I have to wait till 2019 to find out. Because Arrow isn't going to address it. You know they're not. And if they do, that's going to be weird.
They're not going to address it, but imagine if they are legit going to be ending Arrow next year.
Did they say that?
No, they didn't. I'm just saying that, what if they do?
You think it's going to be a rebrand kind of thing?
No, they could consolidate some of the characters into something else. Like, this is my real theory, okay? And this is me kind of like swinging.
Oh, we're already past this, people. We already talked about the 3-parters and stuff. I think put it this way, I didn't want to go part by part because I think going through the characters and their journey through this is way better than trying to like, okay, this is what happened in part 1. This is what happened no, because the characterizations is kind of the story of... The characterizations of Barry, Oliver, and Kara, and even Superman is way better than just recapping all 3 parts because that's, like I said, it's a very intimate 3-parter. Even though stakes are high, it's very intimate and where these characters you're talking about 4 seasons of The Flash. Was it 8 seasons, 7 seasons of Arrow? 7 of Arrow and 4 of Supergirl. to where you see these characters that built up to this point. So it's like it's a culmination of how they got to this point. So it's but yeah, we're in theorizing here mode. So yeah, I think it's gonna be this is gonna be a rebrand for Arrow, especially when you look, because think about it. Look at the fact that this current season of Arrow, they already are going to the future where things are already gone to crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never even remember the last time that we saw like the future. Who was it that went to the future?
Oh, it was Legends of Tomorrow with Diggle's son as Arrow. And
yeah,
lost an arm.
Yeah, like they never even addressed like what the heck was the result for that, because nothing ever changed. They never even
that was
changed.
A possible future. Possible.
Exactly. But I mean, I knew that this series was crazy when you had Stephen Amell's wife as freaking Nora Freeze, who got out of her chamber to pick up Victor Freeze's gun from the guy staring Batman and Robin. The same Freeze gun from Batman and Robin. So I'm like, I knew this was all going to be crazy. But what I didn't know is that they were going to be systematically preparing for a Crisis on Infinite Earth. Now, one of the things I've always wanted, and it always just irks me every time, is the fact that Supergirl is in Earth 38 and they are in Earth 1. Yeah. And it's like, you got Superman in Earth 38, and I guess you got Batman in Earth 1, but yet you got a version of Batman in Earth 38, and you got a version of Superman non-existent at all. No Kryptonians at all have existed.
It's one of those things, because even Kara said, I haven't landed, I guess my version hasn't landed here, which is, you're lead to assume that there's a possibility that maybe, and this is just me theorizing here, maybe Krypton survived somehow. But then again, Oliver has kryptonite arrows, so there's that.
Exactly. And so this is where things are getting very meta. When you start interacting with Earth 1 Batwoman, with Earth 38 Supergirl, you are consistently going back and forth with showing that these universes are eventually going to get ripped apart. And then on top of what Crisis on Infinite Earth refinedly does as far as the DC universe as general, I think that all these things are going to merge. I think that all the universes are going to merge into something totally different. Because I don't think that we're going to come out of... Yes, I really feel like everything will merge and converge together. Because at this point, it's stupid keeping it apart. And it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot, because it's like, okay, yeah, bet we'll come up with, a rehash of the Lois and Clark version, and we'll try to make that go on. But progressionally, like, wait, how are we going to interact with this? How is Jonathan going to interact with Damian?
You're right. Yeah, you are right, because if you, like I said, Arrow is positioning himself for its future. You got Flash dealing with with his daughter, trying to prevent him, for Crisis. Supergirl seems like they're trying to ease into kind of like mellowing out all the storylines that they're doing. So maybe this is their way of kind of rebranding all the shows to where you can bring in, wow, holy crap, I didn't even think about that.
Because that even is going to affect Legends, it's going to affect Batwoman, of course it's going to affect Black Lightning in some capacity. I mean, when we were looking at the Flash, and we talked about this briefly, when Reverse Flash was talking to your boy Barry, he was like, oh, what's her name, Dawn? Oh, well, at least you still got one of your children. Yeah. And I was like, wait. So, because the thing is, the Reverse Flash, when the Flash first season happened, we understood that Barry was supposed to become the Flash anyway. Yeah. But it got sped up because of what the Reverse Flash did. Uh-huh. Now, that timeline was altered because of what the Reverse Flash did. But what if, when all this is said and done, all that completely changes? Because it's evident that by the end of the Flash, they're going to end up with twins. One way, shape, or form, I don't know how, they're going to end up with twins. Somehow. So I really do feel like that not only is all these things going to merge together, but what they should do, if they're smart, is make a small little mini-series, like maybe 5 episodes or 6 episodes or something like that, and just make it be what the Defenders should have been for Marvel, Netflix, and just make this a culmination epic. Like instead of like, okay, it's going to be on Arrow's night. Like, no, there are no shows at this point. All bets are off. All these shows could get completely changed forever. Mm-hmm. This is Crisis on Infinite Earth every night until whatever. I think
if it merges all the shows together into one world, that would be great. I mean, thankfully, and I think maybe this is why Black Lightning hasn't been shoehorned into these worlds, because maybe it is building up to 2019. Black Lightning gets melded into it, and then boom, we see Black Lightning interacting with everybody. You know, which exactly. I think is a smart move, because, like I said, Legends is dealing with their stuff with time travel. Hence why I made the joke earlier. Legends made that joke earlier about, oh yeah, they're doing another crossover, whatever, because they're dealing with that time travel and demons and stuff. So, yeah, this could be a way to like meld all the shows into one world. Now, I mean, granted, that's another discussion altogether of how they're going to do all that. But yeah, that Crisis, I mean, Crisis in the comics was a way to kind of streamline everything back to normal too, in a way. So that does make sense and stuff. Now, I don't know whether this means they're going to get rid of the different Earths kind of aspect. That's my only thing. But like I said, that's a different discussion altogether. You know, because that's a whole different can of open worms right there.
Yeah, because Black Lightning, was it sometime in the first season? I think Anissa was talking to her mom. Was like, "Yo, I love Supergirl." Like, wait, what? Like, okay, so Black Lightning exists within
Supergirl's world.
Yeah, like, wait, what? Like, it don't make any sense. So, I really do feel like they're trying to refortify some things and refine some things. If they're talking about making a Batwoman, then they're definitely going to have to do something like that, because it even is alluded to that Batwoman was like, you know, what's going on with Dr. Destiny? Like, why is he talking to this person that is pivotal?
The Psycho Pirate.
Exactly. Like, he's pivotal to, you know, Crisis on Infinite Earth. So it's like she's going to be involved. And it's like eventually, I can't imagine them having Superman not be involved in the Crisis in some way, shape, or form. I can't even imagine them not having Batman in some capacity being involved. And them doing that tagline with Diggle being Jon Stewart.
Listen, we gotta talk about that. We gotta talk about that, because here's the thing. Diggle when 1990 Barry sat there and said, "Diggle, where's your ring?" I gotta imagine that was them tying into the aspect of. Yep. And you remember a lot of us in the early seasons of, you know, Arrow was like, man, Diggle would be an awesome Green Lantern because he does have the Jon Stewart military background. And like, oh man, maybe Diggle is Jon Stewart. And you remember they shot it down and stuff. And it felt like this is their way of saying, oh yeah, Diggle on Earth 90 is Green Lantern. So now everybody's like, give Diggle a ring. Now,
exactly.
Please. But I mean, granted, that would kill Green Arrow a little bit, because it's like, oh, Diggle is not Argus now he's a Green. You know, I think that's just opened it up. But it was kind of like a funny nod, because Diggle was like, hold up, what does he mean? I need a ring? What is he talking about?
But see, that goes into what we were just talking about. If there is no longer an Arrow,
yeah,
why not keep the actor, keep the character? Give the man a ring. Like, why not? Because if he's not going to be, if there's not going to be an Arrow anymore, you know, God forbid, then
I mean, it's going to end eventually if we're going to keep it a buck. I mean, it is going to be. All things must come to an end. I mean, it's already got its 100th episode. Like, I think, was it last season or the season before? So it's like it's already in syndication at this point. I mean, it's syndicating on TNT at this point, anyways. So. I mean, you might as well shoot for the moon, and the past 2 seasons, including this one, have been like, they've been knocking it out the park and stuff with this Diaz saga and stuff, so it's been great. So why not? You know, like I said, they meld together and they say, hey, we're going to put Diggle as a Green Lantern. I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it on a CW budget, but I mean, that'll be awesome, but we'll see. Like I said, we're theorizing here at this stage.
Bro, look, this is what I would do. I would be like, yo, all right, so we got Diggle, your boy's same actor, he is Green Lantern. Like, wait, DC Universe is like, oh, give him to me real quick. We'll make a small little series for him. And you'd be like, what? All right, I'll watch that. Quick.
It's just,
I would watch it quick.
I mean, so because like if you want to talk Easter eggs, like there was a ridiculous amount of freaking Easter eggs in this. Like I mean, I touched on it earlier about like even in episode 2 with Batwoman, all the Batman Easter eggs was just through the roof.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. All of Batman's rogues galleries, the fact that Barry and Oliver got hit with the scarecrow toxin. And just like, like you said, the very overt nature of it possibly tying into the Dark Knight universe with whole like, Batman just kind of packed up and dipped and stuff, which is weird because then it's like, so what happened to Robin, the quote unquote Robin that was supposed to take over, but I guess they chose to ignore that and just have her take over as Batman, so to speak, so which I'm fine with. I mean, you didn't have to do the whole John Robin BS and stuff. But just all the overt nature of that and stuff. And just the Smallville, which to me is just like... because we already talked about how this Superman maybe is Tom Welling's Smallville version, possibly, and stuff, which I thought was cool. But the fact that in the 1990 Flash show, the fact that they used the Justin Hartley Green Arrow as part of Smallville version of Green Arrow as the 1990s Green Arrow was just funny as hell. I was like, that's the Smallville Green Arrow. Interesting.
Yep.
And like I said earlier, just that aspect of Amazo. Like, they actually did pretty good job with Amazo and just the powers and him absorbing all the powers and how they defeated him. It was great. Just everything is just, I mean, for you, what was kind of like the Easter eggs that kind of just blew up, that kind of stood out to you that maybe I didn't mention so far at this stage?
I mean, there's so many different ones. I think the second episode with Arrow, part 2 was so many. I feel like they went way too fast with that. Because, like, the hallway, I sit there and saw Edward Nygma, I saw Oswald Cobblepot, like, I saw
Guggenheim,
Clayface. I was like, what the flip is going on? Even when they went in a car, like, lifted up the head, that was the freaking, like, little thing that they used in, I think, the 66 Adam West joint when they went down the poles. And I was like, wait, what? And even when Superman was fighting Deegan, and somebody looked at him like, Bizarro? And I was like, what the heck? It was so freaking lit, man. And I don't even know what the hammer was that Lois had. I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I really didn't. It was like, it was so meta and so many Easter eggs that I was at a certain point, I was like, this is even way too geeky for me. I don't even know what some of this stuff is.
If you want to call it deep cuts and stuff, the Trigger twins, those were criminal twins that Wild Dog killed in the comics. That's deep cuts like I don't know what. Just those little things and stuff was just crazy. And just, I guess if we were going to talk about it and stuff, Deegan as a character, what I thought was interesting was with Deegan is he's this person that the Monitor used as kind of like the cipher to kind of test the heroes and stuff. And what I thought was interesting with him is that what he was doing, rewriting Barry and Oliver's life and stuff, it wasn't enough for him. And the fact that in the third part he transformed himself as Superman, even though he said that he was basically Kara, was interesting to me because, Kara's like, so you just want to be me? He's like, well, a version of you. But the fact that he was Superman and the fact that it wasn't enough to defeat Barry and Oliver was interesting. And I like how Barry and Oliver picked up like, hold up, you don't want us to defeat them. There's something else that you want us to do.
Exactly.
Which I thought was cool because I think it felt like Earth 90 Flash, they thought that they just had a bulldog, whoever had that book in their reality. And it seems like, no, he wanted them to figure out something else. Like, how do we defeat this person? Are you willing to do what you have to do and make the sacrifice to do it? And like I said, it ties into what did Ali sacrifice? Yeah,
and I like I said, that dialogue with him and the Monitor, I was like, yo, Oliver, you got some cojones, brother, because this man could vaporize you into nothing. But I think the Monitor even alluded to, like, you're not afraid to die. Like, you will do whatever it takes to get the job done, which normally that's Batman's role. That's normally Bruce's role, which is fine. But I felt like that dialogue of him talking to the Monitor is like, the fact that you would sit there and let the two greatest people that can be an asset in this upcoming war or die shows how inferior as a god that you actually really are. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo. And then he even positioned himself as like, I'm not what you need. Like, I have way too much darkness to be able to consolidate this. But at the same time, like, because of him being self-aware like that, they do need him. Oh, yeah. So it's like, I have no idea what's going to happen, man. And I'm very excited because, like, this, it could have ended off so cliche and predictable, but no, like, this is all leading somewhere.
I mean, the book had the same symbols that Barry's daughter made up. Him and her and Reverse Flash made up, which, again, it makes you wonder, this season of Flash may not be the last time we see Barry's daughter.
Oh, yeah, absolutely not.
Because you can't just throw that in there and then expect us to be like, oh, she ain't going to come back. It's whatever. It's like, no, she's going to come back.
Yeah, this is like the second season. No, man. Like, no. Dang, this was last season when Barry started writing on those letters.
Yeah, when he came back.
For them to keep the letters this long, and we don't know what the Reverse Flash is trying to do. Yeah. We don't know how the antimatter equation with the anti-monitor is going to play effect with the way that they're going to scope this design of Infinite Crisis. But either way, my whole thing is, because this said fall of 2019, does that mean that the end of these seasons are going to be
we'll see. I mean, look. I mean, I know you said you probably ain't going to go to San Diego next year. You know, you got the kid and stuff. I mean, you know, if I happen to go, depending on how everything pans out with me, it's, 50-50, but I'm definitely going to try to go. I'm curious to see how they push that, because they're going to put out a trailer, and there's going to be a panel for that. Like, you can't just drop fall 2019. And hell, I think at WonderCon you might hear something about it, because by the time WonderCon hits next year, the seasons are going to be over. So to me, it's like, oh, they might do some they're going to push for a lot of things. And like you said, ties into, this is a little side note with the Flash. Sherlock, he suspects that Barry's daughter didn't make up that language. And now we know that her and Reverse Flash did it. It makes me wonder, did Barry originate that language, or was that something he picked up from his daughter?
I really do feel
that's a different question for the Flash, but yeah, it's yeah. And the fact that Dr. Destiny, by the end of this, he ends up actually looking like his comic book counterpart is kind of just wild,
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just, man, this 3-parter was just it was great. It was great. Man.
Yeah.
Man.
I keep saying it, man. Like, they don't miss with any of these crossovers. Like, crossovers are great, and that's why I was like, even before the Crisis on Infinite Earth thing came up, like, I was like, they need to just do this and just refine it. Like, instead of coming out with 22 episodes per season, like, give us something like 10 to 8 episodes of just epicness.
Yeah,
and like, just make it work, because that's like, man, like, I can't even imagine if they came out with just a season of just a crossover. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And just build on that world like that.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's me and Sam's little legit thing on the Elseworlds thing, because to me, I think we can go on for like another hour on this, and it's just gonna be us theorizing. I want people. I think this is. Look, I'll recommend the previous crossovers, but I think folks will probably like this one more, because you're not going to be confused. It's spread across the main 3, the CW Trinity 3, and I think it does a good job of not diverting away. Like, even, because I know most people are going to be like, oh, they didn't use the full cast, but I don't think you did. They used Diggle to the extent they did. He had his time to shine, especially at Arkham Asylum. They used Felicity, and they still tied into certain things that her and Oliver were dealing with on Arrow. Iris got her time to shine and stuff, and had her relationship tested, and what they're dealing with Flash to an extent. So every individual episode, I could say legit for a fact that this is the first crossover where like the Supergirl, which was part 3, it fed into the Supergirl aspects of that part. So you saw a lot of folks, even though they dealt with Lil Barry and Oliver and stuff, you saw the Supergirl aspects oozing out. On the part 1 with the Flash, you saw a lot of the Flash elements ooze out and stuff. And even with Arrow, and mainly because, it was very Batman themed, it was oozing out on that one and stuff. All the way up to Oliver denying, Batman doesn't exist, and then after realizing, oh yeah, Batman did exist. Huh. So, yeah, man. But yeah, folks, just be sure to... Where can you find you at, Sam? Because, clearly we might have some first-time listeners on this show.
Yeah, you can definitely go and check us out. Just type in JVS. If you want to go straight to YouTube directly, just go youtube.com/SEL0320. We are on Twitter. You go tweet_JVS. Instagram, we are Insta_JVS. We also have a Patreon channel. With the Patreon, this is patreon.com/JVS_Patreon, where we have full reactions of everything from The Gifted to Black Lightning to Daredevil, and of course these crossovers. We have 4 reactions right now for free, so if you want to go and check them out on our Patreon, definitely go and check those out. And yeah, for sure.
Cool. Yeah, but also too, just a side note, folks, if so the way I've been doing recaps this season for Gifted and Black Lightning, I've been kind of doing it in 3-episode increments because, again, this movie season, especially with the academies and stuff, we've been kind of getting hit with like a lot of screeners and stuff. So like me and Mo trying to do it every week, it kind of messed it up. So we've been doing it in 3-episode increments. So if you've been listening to our Black Lightning recaps, I should have 4, 5, and 6 up, and then next week we'll probably do the last 3 going up to the mid-season finale because Black Lightning has been awesome. So that should be up, and also next week we'll probably have the Gifted ones up as well because I believe it hit his mid-season finale as well on that. So just a heads up, those are going to be up and stuff. It's just movie season has been wild as hell and stuff. I don't know how Sam does it because he got a kid and he somehow is able to still put them videos out and stuff, but hey, he's able to do it all and stuff, so I have to bow down to your greatness, sir, on that one. That is just me. I'm just like, I got my girl, we're ramping up things in our personal lives and stuff, and it's just like I'm trying to consolidate certain things, so it's, I'm like you, where I'm organized and that it's not interfering with my personal shit, and D got a kid, so I feel me and Sue got to pick up the slack on certain things because I understand he has a kid and he has a job and all that stuff, so it's like all of us are trying to figure all this out, in the game of life, so to speak.
Yeah,
so
man.
That's what I'm saying. I'm bad out to you. You got a kid and you're still able to, do what you have to do, and it isn't interfering per se. So I definitely give praises to you. So
man, small little miracles, man.
Oh, yeah, hey, look, that's all it is. You're in a podcast game, and that's all you need is miracles. So, but yeah. Anyways, folks, yeah, we'll catch you guys later, and peace out.
All right, guys, take care.
Shim, 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 there.